Every trader thinks they need another strategy, another course, another signal. But what if I told you that what you actually need is silence? The silence to listen, not to the market, but to yourself. We chase price, hoping to catch profit. But price doesn't move because of you. It moves through you. Every candle you see on the chart is a mirror reflecting your fear, greed, hesitation, and doubt. You think you're trading price action. But in reality, price action is trading you. Look closer. Every impulsive entry is born from fear of missing out. Every early exit is driven by the terror of loss. Every revenge trade is your ego screaming, I must be right. And in that chaos, you forget the first law of the Stoic trader. Control what you can. Accept what you can't. Price is chaos. Your reaction is the only order you can create. The Stoic trader doesn't predict. He responds. He doesn't chase. He waits. Because he knows that in the market, discipline is the ultimate edge. So, the next time you open your charts, don't just look for patterns. Look for emotions hiding inside them. For in every price action candle lives a story of human psychology. And once you master that, you'll realize this truth. You never needed 1,000 videos. You only needed this one. If I deleted every trading psychology video from the internet and left you with only one, this would be it. Because this isn't about charts or price action. It's about you, the trader trapped inside your own mind, fighting fear, greed, and ego with every click of the mouse. You open your charts and you see movement. Red, green, candles forming and fading like thoughts in your mind. But what you're really looking at is not price. It's human behavior, compressed into lines, numbers, and patterns. Every chart you see, every trend, every reversal, every breakout is not just data. It's emotion, perfectly visualized. Each candle is a confession, a story of someone's fear, someone's greed, someone's hesitation. Thousands of traders, all acting on emotion, create the illusion we call price action. You see that long wick on the top of the candle? That's not just rejection. That's regret. That's someone who bought too late and couldn't handle the pain. That's panic, frozen in time. You see that sudden spike? That's greed. A collective rush of ego, a crowd screaming, I can't miss this move. Until they do, every tiny shift, every sudden pullback, it all tells you what people feel, not what they think. Because the market doesn't trade logic. It trades emotion. And if you listen closely, the market speaks in the language of the unconscious. Think about it, Yanni. Why do you buy at the top? Why do you sell too early? Why do you hesitate when the setup looks perfect? Because the chart is not separate from your mind. It is your mind. When you look at a candle forming, you're actually watching your psychology unfold in real time. Every candle you react to is a test of who you are. Are you patient? Are you calm? Or are you addicted to movement, to the illusion of control? That's why most traders lose. Not because they don't understand charts, but because they don't understand themselves. You see, price is not your enemy. It's your mirror. When the market goes against you, you're not fighting price. You're fighting your own fear of being wrong. When you can't hold your trade long enough, you're not facing volatility. You're facing your lack of faith in your own plan. Price reflects every hidden emotion you've been trying to suppress, your doubts, your greed, your desperation to win. And until you see that, the market will always feel like chaos. But the Stoic trader, he understands the truth. He knows that price doesn't move because of him. It moves through him. He doesn't take a trade to conquer the market. He takes a trade to understand his reactions to it. When price spikes, he doesn't chase. When price drops, he doesn't panic. Because he's not attached to the candle. He's attached to his discipline. To him, each candle is a teacher. Each pattern is a reflection. And each loss, a mirror where emotion still controls him. The Stoic trader sees what others don't. He sees human nature written in every tick. Where others see a double top, he sees hesitation. Where others see a breakout, he sees excitement. Where others see a fake out, he sees disappointment. An entire crowd realizing their emotion has cost them again. That's the true art of trading psychology, not mastering others, but mastering the emotional energy behind price. Look closely at any chart from history. 2020, 2008, every crash, every rally. They were never just financial events. They were emotional reactions on a global scale. When fear spreads, price collapses. When greed dominates, price explodes. But the Stoic trader stands still, watching the world burn and bloom, unmoved, because he understands. You cannot trade the market until you've traded your own emotions. So, the next time you open your chart, don't rush to draw lines or find patterns. Instead, ask yourself, what emotion am I seeing? What emotion am I feeling? Because when your internal psychology aligns with the collective psychology of the market, you don't just read price action, you become it. That's when trading stops being chaos and starts becoming art. You'll notice something miraculous. The same chart that used to confuse you now starts to make sense. You'll see hesitation before it happens. You'll sense greed before the breakout. You'll feel fear before the collapse. Because you're no longer looking at numbers. You're watching the human story behind them. And when you finally reach that point, you'll realize something profound. You don't need to master price. You need to master the emotions that create it. Only then can you trade without fear, without greed, without noise. Because the chart is not just a battlefield. It's a mirror. And the most dangerous war has always been the one inside your own mind. Every trader enters the market with the same dream: to predict what happens next, to catch the perfect entry, to control the chaos. But the truth, Yanni, is that the market doesn't need your control. It only reacts to your emotions. You've been told to learn strategies, price patterns, indicators. But nobody told you that the greatest indicator is your state of mind. And until you master that, every other strategy will fail you. Because trading isn't a battle with charts. It's a battle with yourself. The Stoics understood something most traders never will. You cannot control external events, only your response to them. That single truth is the difference between an impulsive gambler and a disciplined trader. You can't control when price reverses. You can't control news, manipulation, or algorithms. But you can control your reaction. You can control your mind. And that's where true mastery begins. Think about it. How many times did you exit too early because your heart was racing? How many times did you enter a trade too soon because the silence made you uncomfortable? That's not bad luck, Yanni. That's emotional slavery. The market exposes who you are: impatient, greedy, fearful, uncertain. Every click of the mouse is a psychological confession. The Stoic trader doesn't deny these emotions. He studies them. He lets them rise, then watches them pass, like clouds drifting across the mind. He doesn't try to kill emotion. He learns to coexist with it, without being controlled by it. That's the Stoic way. There's a story told among ancient Stoics. A man standing in a storm, holding his ground as the winds tear everything apart. He doesn't fight the wind. He doesn't curse the rain. He simply stands still. That's trading. Every red candle is a gust of wind. Every losing streak is a storm. And your mind, that's your only shelter. You can either let the market blow you away with every emotional gust, or you can stand still, calm, grounded, observing. The Stoic trader doesn't react to pain. He observes it. He doesn't celebrate profits. He studies them. He doesn't fear losses. He learns from them, because he knows that in the market, the one who feels least wins most. It's easy to act rational when everything's going right. But what about when your stop loss gets hit 3 times in a row? When your plan fails? When you start questioning your own skill? That's when Stoic mastery is tested. Do you explode in anger? Or do you pause, breathe, and remember? This, too, is part of the process. The Stoic doesn't measure success by how much he earns, but by how little the market can disturb his peace. Because the true profit is not in your account. It's in your mind. There will always be a voice in your head whispering, "Enter now. Double your lot. Recover that loss." That voice is not your strategy. It's your ego. The ego wants to prove it's right. The Stoic wants to prove he's calm. When you stop needing to be right, you start trading with clarity. Because clarity doesn't come from prediction. It comes from presence. To the Stoic, each candle is neutral. Each setup is just a probability. He doesn't attach his emotions to the outcome. Win or lose, it's feedback. Nothing more, nothing less. The reason most traders fail isn't lack of knowledge. It's lack of inner stillness. They can't sit through boredom. They can't accept being wrong. They need action to feel alive. But trading isn't about excitement. It's about alignment. The Stoic aligns his behavior with his principles. He knows exactly when to enter, when to stay still, and most importantly, when to walk away. That's not weakness. That's control. When you master emotional control, you stop being tossed around by the market's noise. You begin to see what others can't. The rhythm of price, the psychology behind movement. You realize that price doesn't punish you. Your reaction does. That's why the Stoic trader never seeks revenge on the market. He doesn't need to. He knows the market isn't against him. It's just testing him, testing his patience, testing his self-control, testing his ability to stay calm when everyone else is losing their minds. And when he passes that test, he earns something more valuable than money, mastery. So, next time you sit in front of your screen, don't ask, where will the market go? Ask instead, where will my mind go when it does? Because it's not the chart that needs discipline. It's the trader watching it. The Stoic trader doesn't try to control the market. He controls his reactions to it. And that control gives him power beyond prediction. When the rest of the world panics, he remains calm. When others chase, he waits. When others quit, he adapts. Because he's not trading to feel something. He's trading to understand something. And that's the final truth, Yanni. You don't master trading by controlling price. You master it by controlling the person watching it. Every trader starts with the same hunger, to find the perfect signal. The one setup that never fails. The secret pattern that guarantees success. But here's the truth no one tells you. The signal you're searching for isn't on the chart. It's inside you. You spend hours scanning charts, switching time frames, watching indicators dance on your screen. Your eyes move, but your mind never rests. You think movement means progress, but it doesn't. In trading, movement often hides confusion, and silence hides mastery. The market doesn't reward those who know the most. It rewards those who can wait the longest. Every flashing signal on your chart is a whisper of temptation, a test, a question from the market itself. Can you wait? Because every time you chase, you lose control. And every time you wait, you gain clarity. That's the paradox of trading. The less you do, the more you understand. Look at the greatest traders in history. They weren't loud. They weren't impulsive. They didn't scream at screens or flood their charts with 100 indicators. They were quiet. They were patient. They were observers of human emotion, not participants in its chaos. They understood that silence is not the absence of action. It's the foundation of precision. When you sit in front of your chart and feel that itch, that urge to do something, that's not opportunity. That's anxiety disguised as logic. You tell yourself, the setup looks good, but deep down, you know it's just the fear of missing out, the fear of being left behind. That's the same emotion that drives the crowd, and the same emotion that destroys accounts. The difference between a novice and a Stoic trader isn't strategy. It's the ability to sit still when the world screams for action. The market is noise. It distracts, provokes, and seduces. It feeds on your attention, your impatience, your emotional need to win. And if you can't silence that noise within yourself, no strategy will ever save you. Because the real signal is not in the chart. It's in your reaction. When you see price break structure, when volatility spikes, when chaos unfolds. The Stoic trader doesn't panic. He breathes. He watches. He listens to the silence between each tick. And in that silence, he hears everything he needs to know. He knows that real setups don't scream. They whisper. Real opportunities don't rush. They wait. And profits don't chase noise. They emerge from stillness. There's a kind of wisdom that only silence can teach, because silence reveals what the noise hides. It shows you your impulses, your emotional triggers, your patterns of self-sabotage. When you stop reacting to every flicker of the chart, you begin to see how much of trading is just emotion masquerading as logic. And when you detach from that, you enter a different level of awareness. You stop fighting the market. You stop fighting yourself. And suddenly, trading becomes effortless. Silence is where the Stoic trader lives. He enters trades quietly. He exits quietly. He doesn't announce, doesn't prove, doesn't seek validation. Because he's not trading to feel significant. He's trading to stay aligned. He knows that the more noise he lets in, the weaker his focus becomes. That's why his charts are clean. His journal is detailed. And his mind is uncluttered. He knows that clarity comes not from doing more, but from doing less. Ask yourself this. How many times did you lose not because your analysis was wrong, but because you couldn't wait? How many times did you exit early, not because of price, but because of fear? That's the cost of noise. It pushes you to act before the truth reveals itself. The market is patient, and it waits to punish impatience. Silence, on the other hand, is a teacher. It teaches you timing. It teaches you humility. It teaches you how to listen, not to the market, but to yourself. Because when you truly listen, you realize something profound. You never needed more setups. You just needed less noise. The Stoic trader treats silence like a weapon. He uses it to sharpen his focus, to reset his emotions, to observe without reacting. In that silence, he can see the market for what it truly is, a reflection of human behavior. Noise traders chase emotion. Stoic traders study it. Noise traders look for excitement. Stoic traders look for peace. And in the end, peace always wins. Trading is not about prediction. It's about presence. It's about being still enough to see clearly and disciplined enough to act precisely. You don't need 1,000 signals. You need one clear mind, because when the mind is silent, the chart speaks. And when the chart speaks, you finally understand what it's been trying to tell you all along. The market doesn't move because of you. It moves through you. Soft outro. Heartbeat fades. Single tick echoes silence. In that final silence, you realize the most profitable decision you'll ever make is to stop listening to noise and start listening to yourself.